In this video, we are talking about the top 10 marketing automation systems in 2025. So let's dive right in. Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta. I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent technology advisory firm. We help our clients with technology strategy, system selection, as well as change management. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is the top 10 marketing automation systems in 2025. Before we look at the list, we are going to review how we define marketing automation system category, as well as some of the criteria that we have used to compile this list. So first, on the marketing automation category, number one, this is the siloed category. And siloed, when we say, we generally mean some sort of software as a service, SaaS kind of offering, which can be installed, deployed alone without requiring ERP-centric workflows or the cross-functional alignment, integration, etc. So that is how we define the siloed category, and marketing automation systems are going to be siloed. These are not modules within your ERP systems, even if they might have very similar capabilities. For example, let's say email distribution, etc. Marketing automation category is separate by itself, and any of the systems that are going to be part of this category are captured with this list. Now, the criteria. So that's going to be product share. Acquisition strategy must be focused on the marketing automation category, the product roadmap, community, ecosystem, win rate, technology strategy, as well as investors. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is Zoho Marketing Automation. And Zoho Marketing Automation is the suite offering, or the offering that is part of Zoho portfolio. They have complete suite for the most part from the marketing perspective. And this is going to be companies that are looking for simpler CRM without consulting help, even though Zoho CRM as well as the marketing automation category is going to be far more robust for the most part from the marketing automation perspective. It might not have as deep capabilities. For example, let's say if you compare this with HubSpot, etc., or ActiveCampaign, they are going to have much deeper capabilities from the marketing integration, marketing automation, the kind of workflows that you can design inside those. The ecosystem is going to be much bigger as well. But Zoho Marketing Automation does a decent job if your workflows are going to be simpler for the most part. So some of these trends to keep in mind from Zoho Marketing Automation perspective is workflow automation as well as forms. They have forms, but again, the forms might not be as slick as what you are going to find with the other ecosystems. They're finding talent, etc., may be much easier compared to what you are going to get with Zoho. Zoho also struggles a little bit with their support as well. So again, talent is probably going to be a requirement for you guys. So that is something to think about when you look at this. The data model is far richer compared to some of the other marketing automation systems. With them, the data model is not going to be as strong. So if you are going to have very CRM operational workflows where you require far deeper hierarchy from the CRM workflows perspective, then Zoho might be a better fit. Other marketing automation systems generally struggle with that, and you will need to flatten your data before you can integrate with that. So any of the industries where you are going to have ERP-like workflows, if you have those, then Zoho Marketing Automation may be a better fit, just because CRM has a lot more layers compared to the pure play marketing automation systems. For example, when you compare this with HubSpot or ActiveCampaign. journey builder for the omnichannel experience. It has that. It has a very strong journey builder overall from the omnichannel experience perspective, but the integration may require consulting help just because you might not have as many pre-baked integration, especially if you have very specific preferences in terms of which system you are trying to utilize as well as integrate. In those cases, it might not be as prolific overall from their ecosystem presence perspective. Some limitations to keep in mind is, again, ecosystem is not as robust. It is not meant for some of those enterprise use cases, especially if you have very specific workflow security requirement, or you are trying to consolidate many different brands globally, where you are going to have consolidated processes from the marketing automation perspective. If you have all of those requirements, then Zoho marketing automation might not be the best fit. Not as natively integrated with some of the data-centric platforms. So if you are going to have those data-centric workflows where you are trying to automate or trying to design those intent-centric workflows, in those cases, Zoho marketing automation may not be the best fit. So that's number 10. Number 9 on our list is MailChimp. And MailChimp is much easier marketing automation software compared to Zoho marketing automation. MailChimp is going to have much lighter capabilities, but it's decent for these startups, smaller businesses that might not have as much consulting budget, etc. It's very easy to find MailChimp talent. So that's going to be a huge plus from the MailChimp perspective. MailChimp also has very strong ecosystem overall in terms of integrating with many different platforms that you are going to need as part of your marketing stack. So in those cases, MailChimp is going to be a great fit. So again, the strengths that you're looking at from the MailChimp perspective, it does support many different audiences, segments. So that's a huge plus. But it's not going to be as great fit for the global brand perspective of, or if you have multiple brands or you require workflow security, etc. of different teams, different profiles, you have very complex reporting requirements. If you have those, then MailChimp might not be the best fit. But it does have all of those basic capabilities, including your campaign builder support, etc. Some other limitations to keep in mind is it would require additional CRM. So some of the other systems, for example, if you look at Zoho, Zoho is going to have the CRM as part of the bundle. MailChimp is not meant to be a CRM. So in this case, you are going to require a little bit transactional CRM. If you have those transactional or operational requirements from the CRM perspective, then you would need a CRM as well with that. And most companies are going to use something like either Pipedrive or Salesforce or HubSpot. HubSpot is going to be slightly more marketing automation software, but Zoho CRM could be a great fit. So some companies use Zoho CRM, but MailChimp they are going to use from the marketing automation perspective. So that's number 9. Number 8 on our list is Click Dimensions. And Click Dimensions is in Microsoft ecosystem. So Microsoft 365 CRM is great, but their marketing automation might not be as easy to use, as easy to implement. And that's why some companies like to use Click Dimensions. Again, it's not going to be as built. The capabilities are not going to be as mature. Ecosystem integration that you are going to find with Click Dimension are not going to be as mature. But again, if you are in the Microsoft ecosystem and you're looking for different options in Microsoft ecosystem, then Click Dimensions is probably a great fit. Some strengths to keep in mind: overall, those basic marketing automation workflows, as well as alignment with Microsoft 365, those capabilities are going to be there. It is well adopted platform in the Microsoft ecosystem. So that's a huge plus, again, if you are going to be on those Microsoft technologies. Some limitations to keep in mind is very small player compared to other platforms. So again, they are not going to have as much R&D budget, as much innovation budget. So if you're looking for updated capabilities and a system that is updated all the time, in those use cases, Click Dimension might not be the best fit. Their omni-channel capabilities as well as ecosystem marketplace, etc., it might not be as strong, even though they are inheriting everything from Microsoft. So that's going to be a huge plus. But overall, their own ecosystem is not going to be as strong. And sometimes some of the integrations that you're going to have from the Microsoft perspective, they might not be supported with click dimension. So that's where you need to do a lot more testing research before you can confirm whether those integration or available option are going to work with click dimensions. Not as natively integrated with data platforms. So again, if you are going to have those data-driven marketing workflows, in those use cases, click dimension might not be the best fit. And that's number 8. Number 7 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 apps. And again, this is going to be another option, even though in the Microsoft ecosystem, you are going to have many different options, including ActiveCampaign, which is far richer, far more adopted marketing automation system compared to some of these other systems. Even Microsoft Dynamics 365 apps is not going to be as well adopted from the marketing automation workflows perspective. Click dimension is definitely not as well adopted either. So here, some of the strengths to keep in mind is the customer journeys, as well as you have just one vendor to deal with. You are signing up with the license with the Microsoft itself. So that's a huge plus overall from the product alignment perspective. Now, the CRM as well as the field service capabilities, if you require that, then those are going to be far tightly integrated compared to the other systems that we have on this list. Some limitations to keep in mind is limited CMS, social, as well as ad workflows. And if those are going to be your requirements, if you're looking for very strong ecosystem from that perspective, Microsoft does have some CMSs. For example, Sitecore is one of that. But again, those CMSs are probably going to be very complex in general. So if that is going to be a requirement for you, then you should look for something else. Ecosystem not as strong as with upstream marketing as well as data providers. So if you look at HubSpot, they are going to be far tightly integrated with some of those upstream marketing providers as well as data providers. This is not going to be as integrated. The user as well as security model that you have with this is far more rigid. So that's number 7. Now, number 6 on our list is ActiveCampaign. And ActiveCampaign is probably the first platform on this list that is really well adopted, that is probably compared with some of the mainstream marketing automation providers, for example, Klaviyo, HubSpot, etc. So ActiveCampaign has a lot of logos. It's a mainstream marketing automation platform. One of the advantages that you had with ActiveCampaign, the reason why they had so much adoption is because of their price point. They were always very friendly with respect to their email sending option. And especially with the marketing automation systems, your price increases substantially if you are going to have steep surcharges with any email tiers. And that was one of the benefits with ActiveCampaign. But now they are acquired by one of the private equity and they have changed their pricing model. So it's not as compelling as it used to be. But again, it's going to be much cheaper than some of the other offerings that we have on this list. Some other advantages of ActiveCampaign, they had a lot more functionality for the franchise-centric businesses. And some of these franchise-centric businesses, especially if you are going to be in not-for-profit space, they require brand consolidation across brands. And that's a very specific piece of functionality that needs to be with the product. Otherwise, it's probably going to struggle. And some of the other mainstream platforms may not have that, even though they are going to have these multi-brand capabilities. So that's going to be strength with ActiveCampaign. So overall, the core marketing automation workflows cost as well as it's going to be well adopted. Some other limitations, not as comprehensive as other options overall from their capabilities perspective, ecosystem, marketplace, etc. Again, that's going to be limited and does not have a real CRM as part of the suite. So that's probably going to be a limitation. And that's number 6. Number 5 on our list is Klaviyo. And Klaviyo targets very specific market segment that is going to be B2C and DTC centric companies for the most part. In the Shopify ecosystem, they might be there in BigCommerce ecosystem, but for the most part, any companies that are going to be DTC centric, they generally use Klaviyo. ActiveCampaign may be useful for both B2C and B2B, but Klaviyo generally targets only B2C centric workflows. The kind of integration, the ecosystem that they are going to have is very B2C focused, and that is very different. MailChimp does really well in the B2C centric space as well. It might be okay for some of the B2B startups, but for the most part, it has alignment with Shopify as well. So with Klaviyo, it's going to be very B2C centric, commerce centric workflows, and they are very different from any B2B centric market segments. So if you are going to be in B2C e-commerce centric verticals, then you should definitely be looking at Klaviyo. One of the advantages that Klaviyo has is it's very easy to implement and use, and generally marketers love that, especially in the DTC segment, just because you are not going to require as much developer help, as much consulting help. Friendly for companies in the Shopify ecosystem, just because the kind of integrations as well as ecosystem you are going to have, that is very Shopify friendly. Some limitations to keep in mind is billing based on active profiles and usage could be trickier to understand as well as estimate. So pricing is going to be a concern with Klaviyo, and that is what we generally hear from users, that sometimes the pricing could be substantially steep and they might need some other options. So depending upon whether you care for those advanced capabilities or not, as well as alignment in the Shopify ecosystem, or you are going to be slightly more price sensitive. If you are price sensitive, Klaviyo may not be the best fit. The segmentation capabilities might be limited. Within Klaviyo, they might not have as many, and it might be expensive for companies if you're sending a lot of emails, just because it has tier-based pricing. So it might not be as friendly for that, and that is number 5. Number 4 on our list is Oracle Eloqua. And Oracle Eloqua is a very enterprise grade system compared to some of the other systems that we have seen on this list. So they are going to have all of those enterprise capabilities, especially if you're looking for workflow security layers for enterprises. If you are going to have those brand consolidation requirements, you are looking for a digital asset management platform that is going to be very enterprise grade for those enterprise centric workflows. Your Oracle Eloqua is going to be a great fit. So some other strengths to keep in mind is the enterprise grade capabilities overall from the publishing perspective, landing pages, webinars, events, depth with custom objects, those capabilities are going to be there. Pre-built integration with Oracle CX as well as Cloud ERP Suite. So that's going to be a huge plus as well. Some limitations to keep in mind is integration not as embedded with CRM, even though it is integrated, but again, it's not as embedded just because it was an acquired product, and you are going to feel that it does not have as tight integration as you are going to find with some of the other products. For example, if you compare this with HubSpot, it is going to have much tighter integration just because it's all developed, maintained by HubSpot. The learning curve is probably going to be steep, and it's very expensive just because it's a very enterprise grade product. So that's number 4. Now, number 3 on our list is Adobe Marketo Engage. And Adobe Marketo Engage was very well adopted among companies that are going to be media tech, that has very deep event-centric functionality, or companies that rely on events to generate their leads. For example, let's say if you look at any of the SaaS companies or tech companies, they also drive majority of their leads through events. Either they are going to be conferences or they are, any sort of virtual events, webinars. And for the most part, when you look at the operational capabilities, ticketing management, etc., all of those complex use cases, when you look at from the event perspective, there are only very few platforms that can really support that. Sometimes companies rely on either the phone system or the communication system, for example, Zoom or RingCentral, them to provide the event-centric capabilities. But if you're looking for tighter alignment of these event-centric capabilities with your marketing automation system, and sometimes you need that if you're looking for those enterprise-grade workflows where you require end-to-end traceability, if you're going to have multiple systems, sometimes companies struggle with that. So for those use cases, Adobe Marketo Engage is going to be a great fit. And in this particular case, the Campaign management features are enterprise grade as well, and event partner integration exists with the as part of the suite. Some limitations to keep in mind is it's expensive, does have slightly more legacy feeling just because the product is not as innovative as some of the other Adobe products, and it does require a little bit of consulting coding skills to be able to maintain landing pages, etc. So again, that could be a little negative there with this particular platform, and that's number 3. Number 2 on our list is Salesforce marketing automation product, and which is Pardot. Now, if you look at Salesforce marketing automation product, for the most part, this was an acquired product as well. That's why these systems struggled with the integration with their core CRM platform. Even though Salesforce is going to sell them as part of the same suite, they are going to have Sales Cloud, Marketing Cloud, etc. But for the most part, marketing was a very siloed experience in general. Pardot was a very enterprise grade product. So overall, from the enterprise workflow security perspective, some of the analytics was very strong. You could literally have the SQL statement written for your analytics. You can add as many custom fields as you like with some of the core objects, and then augment that for your segmentation, marketing workflows, etc. So for those capabilities, Pardot or Salesforce marketing automation was a great fit. Now, Salesforce is investing a lot with their AI capabilities as well. So some of those agentic capabilities are going to be very strong fit from the Salesforce perspective. So that's a huge plus for the Salesforce marketing automation platform. Overall, Salesforce marketing is sort of changing overall from the interactive based marketing, and they market this as that from now on, you are not going to have do not reply centric marketing workflows. So they are trying to change that. They are trying to make the experience slightly more interactive. But right now, we don't have enough details whether they are going to have the same seamless experience that generally HubSpot provided overall from the omnichannel integration as well as from the alignment perspective. But that is something to watch for with this product. And when you are reviewing, you should be looking at these things. So some other limitations to keep in mind: the experience is probably not going to be as embedded. The learning curve is probably steep, and it's probably going to be expensive. So that's number 2. Number 1 on our list is HubSpot, and HubSpot is sort of pioneer of the whole marketing automation category. Even today, they have one of the strongest capabilities from the marketing automation perspective, especially when you talk about the whole omni-channel alignment piece, anything and everything that is going to be relevant to a marketer. HubSpot is still the gold standard for those workflows. Now, where HubSpot is going to struggle is going to be for those B2C centric workflows, commerce centric workflows. For that, HubSpot is not necessarily a great fit. For the most part, HubSpot does really well in the B2B centric spaces. The companies that care for that omni-channel alignment as well as integration, especially if you're going to have the website driven workflows as well, for that, HubSpot is a great fit. Overall, where HubSpot generally struggles is with their data model. The data layers are extremely limited overall from the workflow security perspective, mapping all of those operational use cases. If you are going to be very strong in those operational processes from the CRM perspective, if those are your use cases, then HubSpot might not be the best fit. HubSpot is great from the marketing automation perspective, is not as great fit from the CRM operational workflows. So that's why sometimes companies use either Microsoft or Salesforce with HubSpot, just because they were far stronger overall with their CRM workflows. They were not as strong from their marketing automation perspective. But if you are looking for that best of breed architecture where you are going to use HubSpot for marketing automation and Salesforce or Microsoft for the CRM use cases, that could be a great combination. Some other strengths to keep in mind: overall, the ecosystem integration with some of the other upstream marketing providers, such as your CMS, data companies, etc., as well as the embedded CMS data store that they have that goes with CMS. That's a huge plus for very complex marketing-centric workflows, especially if they are triggered from your website. Other limitations: their object structure is not as strong when you look at those parent-child-centric relationships, and some industries are going to require that, and that's where HubSpot struggles a lot. limited customizability for the enterprise use cases. So you need to be really careful with HubSpot because for some of those enterprise use cases, HubSpot struggles a lot. Again, if you're using this only for the marketing automation category, HubSpot is a great system. It may not be the best fit for the other CRM use cases. And again, it's not meant to be commerce driven. For B2C industries, for example, Klaviyo is a much better fit when you're looking at those DTC or B2C centric spaces. So that's number one. If you enjoyed this video, we publish these videos on a weekly basis. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. This podcast is also available in the audio form on major podcasting platform. We are going to include one report that is going to have much deeper analysis. So you might want to check that. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.